Should a vaccine be free when we finally get one for this COVID-19 pandemic? Should that vaccine be free of charge to all of us? That's the question that we pose to all of you in a poll. If you scroll down just a bit, we have a poll going on this Facebook page. There's about a day left before this thing wraps up, but currently 80% of you, with many hundreds of you voting, I appreciate that, 80% say yes, a COVID-19 vaccine should be free. I also, when reading through the comments, I'm not gonna be here quite as long as I was Friday for the mailbag, but I do want to say, as I was looking through some of these comments, the ones I want to highlight, I noticed something also. You were answering quite a little bit of a different question, which is you can't force me to take it. In other words, I was getting some of that sentiment, so I included that question here. Should the vaccine, not only should it be free, wanted to know about that, but also should it be mandatory? Also, as we're going through here, this live chat box is open, so if you comment here, I'll respond to your point. Also, if you've got a reaction to a couple of these ones that I read, feel free to go ahead and let's have a conversation. All right. Before, also, I want to mention something that came out in between after we asked this poll question, and here we are standing here now. There's a question. There's a report from Fox News saying Operation Warp Speed. President Trump aims to have COVID-19 vaccine ready by the end of the year. And early trial data suggests that a few 100 million doses of the vaccine will be delivered by late 2020. Also, when we're talking about this idea of mandatory, something to keep in mind. And I mentioned this maybe a week ago. There's the 1905 Supreme Court case that mandated a pastor sued because he didn't want the smallpox vaccine. It went all the way to the Supreme Court, and they said yes, you have to get the vaccine, or you can you get fines or go to jail. And I believe this might have been in Minnesota. So that is the case in many. So there is a Supreme Court case that says a state can mandate you to take a vaccine if it wants you to. Now, there is no national policy, but you do. But we think we all have some experience with this, anyways, because you can't. Every state, I believe, has some level of mandatory vaccines, especially for students getting into school, things like that, polio, that kind of a thing. So this already does exist. There is no national policy, but there might be, and it's something worth thinking about, and it's something worth kind of debating, and even, this could be coming down, and for those who don't want one, if it does become nationally mandatory, this could be a fight. So, something to be aware of. We just got a comment here from Rose Ron says, I am not getting one, and I gotta say, this does seem to be the sentiment from all of you, and just in the post here announcing the video, Vera Power says, no to vaccines. Greg Ball says, take your vaccine and shove it in your own body. Greg doesn't want one. Bill Drewley says no to the poisons. Interesting. So let me get to the comments that I wanted to highlight that were under our poll question. Becky Cordell Campbell says no to the vaccine. I don't trust our government, free or not. I'm 66 and I don't take the flu shot either. Yeah, I'm not yet. Look, I think I'll answer the question right off the top. I think I'd probably get the vaccine. I think I would, the COVID-19 vaccine. That's where I'm at. I think if it came available, just to get it, and then I don't have to worry about it, that kind of a thing. I guess what I want to say is I'm more worried of getting it than I am worried that there's something in the vaccine that would harm me worse. Does that make sense? I think if I'm going to weigh the two, I think I'm coming on the side of I'd rather not have to deal with the COVID. But I don't have a flu shot. I don't take the flu shot. I've never gotten one. I'm just not because I'm worried about what's in the vaccine per se, but I'm just not worried about the flu. So it's kind of that same thing there. I'm not too worried about the flu, so I just don't get a shot. I mean, I may down the line, or I may not. I don't know. Maybe when I get older. Doreen Ahern says, let all the doctors and Bill Gates take the vaccine first, and I'll wait a month or two, see what happens. No, thank you, even if it's for free. Gwen Youngblood says, Fauci was the expert on AIDS, and yet, aren't we still waiting for a vaccine for that? How many years do you think it'll be before we have this ready? Now, we did have that thing where Trump said he hopes to have it out by the end of the year, but who knows, right? I mean, early results are promising. We've heard this from a lot of different things, but, it may not pan out, and it does take time to test it and make sure there isn't anything harmful. And I know many of you are worried about potential harm in the vaccine, and we want to make sure that it does good more than harm. And also, I was getting an anti-Bill Gates sentiment from many of you, and I'd be curious what's going on. What do you think with Bill Gates? Do you think he's up to something nefarious working with this? Because he's kind of spearheading some of these vaccine efforts and, of course, global health. What do you think about? Tell me what's going on with Bill Gates. Why are you guys so mad at Bill Gates? Tell me. We got a comment here from Anna S. Morin. Yes, before going outside the United States. So I think She wants the vaccine to be free. Jerry Bates says, I'm not getting a vaccine. Only time I got the flu, my mother gave me a shot. Okay, so she doesn't want the vaccine. Also, maybe while we're waiting for a vaccine, there was another story that came out. A California biopharmaceutical company claims coronavirus antibody breakthrough, and this one is interesting. And I may post a link to this in the chat here. Let me just see if I can do that. And yeah, there we go. Okay, so this one, what they're saying is they give you a dose of antibodies, and the antibodies wrap themselves around the virus and they get flushed out within a matter of days. So we may not even need a vaccine for this. Maybe, what do you guys think about this antibody treatment? Would you rather would you rather do that? Something that's not quite a virus, or I'm sorry, not a vaccine, but maybe a different kind of a treatment that might work. And while I'm putting stuff in the chat, I'm going to go ahead and put this one here with President Trump with going warp speed. I think that was actually the one I posted first. So go check out those stories. Also, let's hit. I want to hit a couple of more items here. Oh, I'm sorry. Comments rather. Sharon Noack says we won't be getting one no matter what, if it's free or not. Let Bill Gates pay for it. See you again with Bill Gates. Craig Meyer says let health insurance pick up the tab for the vaccine, and those who qualify with no insurance can have free vaccines paid for by charities. My 2 cents. Yeah, I agree. I think the thing should be free. Whether or not you want to take it, that's up. I'll say, look, that's up to you. But I think a vaccine should be free. Or at least at the level where it gets picked up by insurance, something like that. I mean, what are we going to make the thing $200? I mean, then no one's going to get it anyways. David Bird says the only vaccine you need is a healthy face mask free immune system. All right, David says, David Bird says, look, if your body can't handle polio, smallpox, tuberculosis, measles, mumps, rubella, God knows what else, typhoid, well then, that sucks for you. You shouldn't get a vaccine. I think I strongly disagree with that sentiment, David. I don't want any of those nasty diseases. I'm glad we've been able to help eradicate them with vaccines. I got no problem with that. I mean, if we just relied on our own immune systems, we would be screwed, okay? A little bit of help, I don't mind. Edwin Douthit says, I believe they should be free for the fact that who am I to decide who has access to free vaccines based on their ability to pay or have insurance that covers them with free vaccines. My flu vaccine is free every year. I bet getting it done every year is far less than the cost of what it would cost if I were hospitalized. Yeah, that's a great point. And plus, if it were free, think of how much it would reduce your possibility of everybody else getting sick. And that is one of those things, right? Because you yourself have the freedom not to take it, but you can get sick and then spread it to others, and that's been an ongoing debate now. I mean, to what degree are you responsible for not spreading this disease to others? Pam Witzman says, there is no such thing as free. You mean taxpayer funded. I don't want the vaccines if it materializes. That's true. I mean, free would essentially, what we're saying, yeah, it's not free in the sense where it has no cost. It's just that cost would be eaten up or covered by a government or insurance. So yes, good point there. Jeff Kaur says, yes to the people who want it as long as it's proven and they don't slip no chips in it, but I will pass myself. So by saying slipping chips, you mean that there might be like something in the vaccine, like a microchip or something like that? Is that what we're talking about? I'd like to get some clarity on that and what that's all about. Thanks for the comment, Jeff. Lanny Zabor says it's not free. The American taxpayers have to pay for it. I don't care what they say. I will not get a coronavirus vaccine. You can give it to the sheep. And now I think by sheep, he doesn't mean real sheep. He means all of us that might go along and get the vaccine and going along with, we're sheep for sort of following along with a government suggesting we take the vaccine. So Jim's not a fan. Larry's not a fan, and if you get one, you're a sheep. Jim Windsor says nothing is free. Please restate the question. Do you think the taxpayers should vaccinate everyone who wants one? Yeah, okay, well, I mean, I think we're clear here. We know what we're talking about when we say free. I think we're clear there. But yes, that's important to say. Yeah, we're talking about government paying for it essentially. John Portner says, I think it should not be mandatory. So John, another one, he just doesn't want it to be mandatory. Again, guys, states might mandate this thing. They really might, and it's something to think about. and in particular, I would say for sure, kids done. They're gonna make it mandatory for kids to return to school. I would almost lock that in. frostbite when we get a vaccine. Larry Groom says, not everyone not taking it never had the flu shot and won't take that one. They can kiss my ass. John Olson says, like anyone in their right mind is going to trust it and get in line to get it. I don't think so. Jimmy E says the 20%, referring to those who say no, it should not be free, represents the pharmaceutical salespeople and their corporate executives. What a bunch of thieves. We should not allow Congress to bail them out. All right, great stuff, everybody. Again, I didn't want to be too long today, unlike our Friday mailbags where I kind of read through many of them and have a deeper discussion. But I think we've already got something going on now. I can tell many of you are not happy of the idea of this thing being mandatory. But to answer the poll question, 80% think it should be free, and I am right there with you. Again, what are we? We're going to charge $100 or something? That's ridiculous. The government broke the economy, and now they gotta buy it. They made us all suffer, and the least they can freaking do is give us a vaccine for free. That's where I'm at. That's my take. I appreciate all of you commenting, voting on that poll. Keep the conversation going here. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you on the next video.